of the common people in our country and the whole world into a historical crossroads. We are enduring a world order that perpetuates the growth of the wealth for billionaires and trillionaires and persistence of poverty, the alienation of people, the warmongering of imperialist nations, the erosion of rights for marginalized groups, even though the democracy is said to be invoked, and the devastation of our environment due to global warming and unsustainable and unacceptable state of affairs. The common people of our country, including you and us, have become victims of the current tragedy of a failed and unfair socio-economic system run by a ruling elite in Sri Lanka for decades. The rulers try to cover up the real issues by intensifying national pressure and escalating racial and religious conflicts are constantly at work. Before and after the so-called independence, these rulers have prevented the common people living in the four corners of the country from living in peace. We live in a society that has lost hope and the sense of achievement. A profound social sympathy emerged when we see people rejoicing over even the smallest victories. The present chapter of this tragedy is unfolding before us. The family of super rich, corrupt politicians and officers who led the economy to great collapse have again increased their profit and share in the same crisis, provoked by the energy crisis that emerged in the first phase of this economic downturn. The people, through a mass struggle, ousted the former president, undermining the constitutional, legislative, executive, and judicial powers, imposing a new power and revitalizing the spirit of the nation. The 2022 goal-based struggle, which ousted the former president, culminated in a manifesto that presented a program uniting all factions of the struggle, despite their differing political views. This manifesto expressed the broad political and economic aspiration of the people. Although many political parties initially agreed to it, they quickly abandoned it. However, we have retained the fundamental principle of that program and incorporated them into our policy. We stand people, you as a force that has consistently opposed the destructive economic strategies of powerful countries, including India. We fought against the disastrous International Monetary Fund program introduced by Ranil Wickremesinghe and opposed all anti-democratic measures. Today, our presidential candidate stands before you as a representative of the force that fought tirelessly against Ranil Wickremesinghe without any concessions. We are presenting the people with transition programs and socialist programs tailored for this century, including an economic program that opposes the predatory practices of financial institutions, which aims to genuinely grow the economy, ensuring that benefits and rights belong to the common people. We advocate a new constitution based on the principles of people's participation and offer solution to the national pressures and problems faced by Tamil, Muslim and upcountry Tamil communities, and our policies are designed to truly eradicate and resolve the great disasters that are afflicting us in the country. We don't need personal appeals because we have a history of standing organically with the people, never separated from them. In every calamity faced by the people, these strugglers have been there as true friends in various battlefields. Such a candidate does not need to present his identity card to the people. In the election, a group of candidates who have made promises instead of policies and who have jeopardized their income sources after mass uprising will come before you. At the forefront is Ranil Wickremesinghe, who placed the burden of the economic crisis on the common people, granted tax concessions to the rich, protected the ousted chief Rajapaksa and sold off the country's public property. For now, we are pointing out that the opposition, which is seeking a mandate to continue along the path set by Ranil, rotten bridge, remaining silent about the economic exploitation by the Indian state and the wealthy, dreaming of ousting Ranil by obtaining an election from him, even when the election map is folded and fail to deliver on their promises are simply the other side of the same coin. When the anti-people program was enacted, both the government and the opposition, including Samagi Janabalawediya and the National People Power, collaborated seamlessly. An example of this the passage of the Social Media Suppression Act and the Economic Transformation Act last week, which occurred without any significant opposition from these parties. In light of this complex political situation, we wish to inform you that Nuwan Bopage, who has devoted his life to the struggle of